Hey yo, E-King Fight News, welcome back to the channel. And let's get it. Luis King Kong Ortiz, he can't wait to get his hands on Dillian Whyte. He can't wait for this bout ordered by the WBC to come to fruition. And I'm hoping Dillian Whyte pushes for this fight as well. I mean, this is the guy that's been hunting down Deontay Wilder, trying to corner him. Well, if you beat Luis Ortiz, that's a final eliminator and a guaranteed mandatory shot. E-King Fight News. More on the story, guys. Now, according to Luis Ortiz's manager, Jay Jimenez, they are very pleased. They're ecstatic. They want a rematch against Deontay Wilder, as they expressed in the aftermath of that fight. You know, he did get knocked out in 10 rounds. However, he clearly gave Deontay Wilder the toughest fight of his career. And if Dillian Whyte were to come in here and take out Luis Ortiz, what a statement that would make. That would be, in my mind, a great fight to watch. I think it would be highly anticipated. It's a great move for Dillian Whyte. I mean, you know, regardless of the fact that, it seems like foul play is in the mix here with the WBC. They basically gave him a raw deal. You know, I think Dillian Whyte was under the impression that he was the mandatory, or would be next in line for the mandatory. However, you know, did Dillian Whyte ever fight a final eliminator? Did Dillian Whyte, you know, he was never named as the mandatory. He was named as the silver belt champion, whatever that means, and as the #1 contender, not as the mandatory. But what we didn't know is the WBC had already given the mandatory status to Dominic Brazil. That I didn't realize that. I think that news came to surprise a lot of individuals. I think maybe Eddie Hearn could have played his cards better. It's a shame because, you know, Eddie Hearn could have made a Dillian Whyte versus Dominic Brazil fight. He could have made that fight a couple years ago and decided he didn't want to pay Dominic Brazil. He decided, you know what, Brazil's asking for too much money. And I don't have the money to pay this dude, basically. So, whose fault does it really lie under? You know what? It all comes back to Eddie Hearn, guys. I mean, it all comes back to Eddie Hearn. Both of these guys have actually been gotten a raw deal from several sanctioning bodies. The WBA really screwed over Luis Ortiz when he was Joshua's mandatory. I mean, there was a time where both of these guys were under contract to Eddie Hearn. Did Eddie Hearn want to make this fight? I mean, Luis Ortiz is a fighter. Dillian Whyte's a fighter. I don't think he's really ducking or dodging anybody. But I want to know that he wants to get in the ring with Luis Ortiz and follow through on path to a Deontay Wilder showdown. I mean, right now AJ is gunning for that fight. You know, negotiations are sort of in a weird place right now. Eddie Hearn's kind of backed into a corner. You know, Deontay Wilder's throwing out A-side offers, and you know, to me, it's Eddie Hearn that's freezing up. You know, he doesn't want to take the money. He doesn't want to take the money, but he's asking for a contract. I mean, I don't know, man. They should just send him something. On one hand, they should just send him a contract via email. I mean, Shelly Finkel, you're a lawyer. Man, is he a lawyer? He's a manager. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they don't want to pay the lawyers to draft it up. You know, who knows all the details, right? I mean, lawyers are they're not cheap. They're not cheap. That's for sure. But we are talking about a $50 million fight. So, I don't know. It seems like Wilder just wants to know that Eddie Hearn is willing to take this offer. Because if he's not willing to take the offer, then he doesn't want to take any further steps. And Eddie Hearn is just making false accusations. You know, that's I don't know. That's what it is in a nutshell. Because Eddie Hearn can say all he wants about where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the money? You know? I need to have a meeting with them so we can talk about things, but we're not agreeing to anything yet. You know, fuck Eddie Hearn, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know, but at the same time, he's kind of stuck in the middle. He's negotiating on Anthony Joshua's behalf. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic. Luis King Kong Ortiz yearns to come back and return in spectacular fashion. So let's hear what his management has to say. So this is a quote from his manager, Jay Jimenez. We're very happy to find another path for the world title. We're convinced that Luis Ortiz will be the winner and he will face Wilder in another match that will be twice as attractive as the first. Here is the issue between Luis and Wilder that has not been finished. The public feels that their business is not over. People feel that Wilder was helped. Luis will be in better condition for a rematch. Yeah, and before all of that, Ortiz would have to get through a Dillian Whyte fight. And it seems like Ortiz's manager is just happy they have the opportunity to get back into the mix in the heavyweight division, in the heavyweight picture. So hopefully this fight goes down. I mean, Dillian Whyte, Luis Ortiz, that's a great matchup. That's a compelling matchup. That's a fight that perhaps can go either way. I mean, Luis Ortiz coming off a knockout. I think if they decided to do that in the UK, you know, with home field advantage, Dillian Whyte really has a great opportunity to showcase his skills, his talents, his abilities, and to, you know, put on a great show. You know, he might have the edge in that fight if it's in the UK. If they bring it over to Barclays, if they bring Dillian Whyte over to New York, that's a whole another atmosphere. I mean, Dillian Whyte has looked lackluster whenever he's had to travel over across the pond into the States. So in that situation, Luis Ortiz may have the advantage. I mean, I don't recall Luis Ortiz ever looking spectacular over in the UK when he had to fight guys like, you know, David Allen and whatnot. He looked good, but he didn't really look spectacular. And those were overmatched opponents. He's never really had very difficult fights. I mean, I think Malik Scott may have been a little bit more trouble for Luis Ortiz. I think that fight was in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of things to consider. Luis Ortiz is an A-class heavyweight, and Dillian Whyte would have to come with his A game and nothing less if he plans on walking away the victor. So, you know, that's an awesome fight. I want to see that happen. Luis Ortiz wants to see that happen. Is Eddie Hearn willing to make it happen? You know, it all comes back to Eddie Hearn with him and his guys trying to corner Deontay Wilder. This time it didn't work out for him. Man, you know, it's funny because he invested. I'm not sure exactly how much money he's invested. I'm not sure exactly how much they've paid the WBC in sanctioned fights versus the likes of Robert Helenius. He sanctioned another fight. I think Malcolm Tan a sanctioned fight? No, it can't be. But they fought Robert Helenius, and they fought Lucas Brown. And Dillian Whyte looked his best against Lucas Brown, but man, Lucas Brown looked horrible. He looked awful, man. That looked like a guy who didn't belong in a boxing ring. But that's just my take on it. E-King Fight News, let me know what you guys think. Predictions in the comments section below. Do you believe Luis Ortiz knocks out Dillian Whyte? Do you believe Dillian Whyte will take Luis Ortiz out, similar to what Deontay Wilder did? E-King Fight News, man. Smash the like button. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. And we out, guys.